What's up, guys? Back again with another video. This time it's a little bit of a copy rant, as I've just been watching pokeAK's video, and I kind of agree with a lot of what he said. Like, his beef is with the RNG, over the drop rates for shinies for Mewtwo. I suggest you go watch his video to hear his rant, because it's completely valid, I think, for the most part. He's talking about the fact that he's done lots and lots of raids. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I know when he said with his Rayquaza he'd done like over 80 raids or something before he got his shiny, or over 100 raids maybe. And then with his Mewtwo he's done like over 50, I'm going to say. I mean, the man does a lot of raids. He hits the grind hard. You know, I class myself in my community as being an above average to slightly mildly sort of, crazy player. I go out for 10 hours a day or so sometimes on the grind, and I am pretty lucky. I mean, I know he caught 4 Yanma in one day. I caught 1. So I kind of, that's cool for me. I did some trades yesterday as well. I got myself a lucky drill bear, which I then turned into an Excadrill. So I'm not too happy with the moveset, but I've got a couple of TMs, maybe, I think. That was another one of his points, was the amount of TMs used. But getting back to the RNG, so his entire point is that he's done, let's say, 50 Mewtwo raids, and he's received 1 shiny. Now, the odds for the usual odds for the legendaries are 1 in 20, usually. So let's say if that's the case for Mewtwo, I know people have been talking about like 1 in 19 and stuff like that, but let's say it's 1 in 20. I would say over the week, I've probably done, well, let's see. Right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was my 100% one, which I was extremely happy to get. I've completely forgotten. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So and I lost these aren't like exact numbers because I've lost 3 of them, I think. So let's say 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. And I have 2. So the odds for that is kind of like, if it's meant to be 1 in 20, I have gone more than the odds are saying. So for me, and I mean, his whole beef is that he believes players who spend money on the game knows you are spending money, and then thinks because you are spending money, you're locked into the game. So it already knows you're going to spend money, so it's not going to give you as much, because it believes you are going to keep going on the grind anyway to continue to spend money to get the Pokemon that you want, which I kind of get. Let's see, legendary. So let's say the Suicune, for instance. I did not get a shiny Suicune. But I know full well I did over 20 raids that day. Oh, not, yeah. When it was out, I did over 20 raids. Didn't get 1. But I was playing with a guy that day that had, he had 3 accounts with him, I think. Possibly 2 or 3. And he got 3 shinies on one and another shiny on his wife's account. So I think, yeah, 3 on his and 1 on his wife. So that, that kind of was a little bit, to me, not annoying, but, it's sort of like I was kind of left wondering, well, I've spent money on this game and I haven't got anything, and he'd saved up passes and had some passes that were, that he'd gotten from research tasks and things, and managed to pull 4. So that was kind of, for me a little bit irritating, like I say, but I'm not going to get disheartened because I know that at some point they will bring back the legendary beasts again with the opportunity for us to get them shiny. This is my other 100% Mewtwo. Now, again, I was very lucky in getting, but I went out of my way and I did a fair amount of these armoured ones, only because, I mean, it's Mewtwo. I didn't really want it because it was not that great, but I wanted candies, and I knew eventually the shiny would be coming out, so I wanted to, start the grind to get the candies. But yeah, from my experience with playing with lower level players and seeing the amount of shinies that come out, I think it is fair to say that there potentially could be some sort of boost or increase in rates for lower level players, just to encourage them to, because when you first start playing the game and you see people with like level 40 and they have everything and they have shinies and they have luckies, it can be a bit off-putting, it can be a bit disheartening for newer players. So for them to be able to get things that make them happy, that make them want to play the game, that give them, that little bit of drive. Here's a shiny, here's a little bit of an extra, specially good one or whatever. We are lucky. We are lucky if we've been playing for many years to have the things we have, because that's the way I believe the game works. Like, yes, I think there is a little bit of fiddling here and there, but I also believe wholeheartedly that if you put effort into the game, you will get the rewards. And yes, it's not all the time, but you have to understand that not everybody has a shiny of some things, and we probably do. Even, I know level 40 players that are still looking for shiny Magikarp because they don't have one yet. Whereas, people that have lots of things tend to forget that we have lots of things. I have 3 shiny Magikarp there. I have 2 shiny Gyarados. These things, so my craziness, I walked just to get enough candies to evolve my first ever Gyarados. I walked 250 kilometers. So, and yeah, people will have had Gyarados a lot earlier than me, but to get the candies, it was an absolute slog. And yes, I live in a water biome because there are lots of, water Pokemon that spawn consistently in our area. But that still didn't mean that I had enough Magikarp or even wanted to get enough Magikarp, because at the time, being a fairly inexperienced player, it was like, ooh, Magikarp, 400 candies, I can't be asked with evolving that. But, the, for the low level players, Gyarados are a good option. Um, and I just kind of ignored that fact because I was an inexperienced player. Now knowing more, I'd definitely do things differently. And I have, like I say, I have another account, so, but, that's neither here or there. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about the situation. It is very much a shame when you don't get what you want, but I also feel nobody has a right to anything in this game. And yes, it sucks if you put money and effort in, but also the amount of, you know, just other things that you have in the game that other people don't have, you have to kind of appreciate. And yeah, I'm not putting, I'm not saying that anybody is wrong for ranting, or like I like I said, I agree with pokeAK that people who've been inactive for a while and newer players may get that little bit of a boost just to keep them interested in the game, because it's a big game to get into now. I mean, we have what? So 5 generations with around about 100 Pokemon each. Some have more, some Sinnohs. I have no idea if we've got everything from Sinnoh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so each gen has around about 100 Pokemon. Right? So you think getting into it as a new player, like 500 Pokemon plus to catch, that seems like an epic task. And you can't catch them all. Like, it's not like you can just go out and they are all there waiting for you. You know, some of these only spawn for events. Some of these you can only get in raids. Some of these you can only get in raids with multiple people there. And if you live somewhere where there aren't multiple people raiding, you're not going to get the ones from raids. You know, and some people don't have the option of being able to go and join groups, or you know, have good communities, because it's not everywhere as I mean, I'm talking a bit of bad English there, but like for certain people, I know pokeAK lives up in oh my god, Anchorage, somewhere like that. So maybe like I know he's got not the best sort of amount of people that might turn up to raids, but he also has a very good community, and he also knows a lot of people where he can have, you know, he can have people turn up to raids, and that's another. I know he talks about entitlement, and he's like saying, um, he doesn't want to sound too entitled, and I agree with that. You know, like, I think people who feel that they are entitled to something in the game are the kind of, you know, the kind of players that will always be disappointed, because if they don't get what they want, then they're going to get pissed off and they're not going to want to play the game. So, you know, that sort of thing, just, if you're going to play this game and if you're going to get disappointed for not getting things, then you're probably better off not playing the game. If you play the game and you enjoy playing the game, which I know pokeAK does, and I know a lot of people don't particularly care about getting shinies, because it is literally just a colour variant, and it is nice to have, and most of the time you don't get a good one. Um, but yeah, you know, you've just got to play the game with in mind. It's a game, and it's meant to be fun, and if you can make friends from it, if you can get yourself healthier from it, if you can, you know, enjoy the fact that you're gonna go out and you're not gonna get what you want, but you might get something else. You know, there'll be a day where you do get some shinies, but there'll be days where you don't as well. You just have to accept this fact, unfortunately. Um, yeah, God, alright, okay, so only 14 minutes of a random rant. Okay, we're going to tie this one up here, because I feel like I've just rambled for far too long, probably incoherently, and I would imagine most of you don't even get to this point, so, but thank you if you did, and yeah, sorry for not uploading for ages. I've been doing other things. Yeah, I'm going to try and get back to some sort of random rant schedule. I have no idea, but yeah, see you in the next one.